Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be going to the top cheapest cameras for YouTube video creation under $100. So before we begin, all the links to this video, all the links for the cameras and everything will be in the description. Also, a summary will be in the description. I've also got videos on cameras under $300, $500 and $1,000 for YouTube if you want to check those out as well. And all camera prices are for new cameras. I didn't cheat and put cameras for $300 which are used for under $100. I didn't put any of those on the list, although you can feel free to research and do your own cameras like that. Cameras, however, are in no order of greatness in this video. I will be going through the greatness and stuff at the end of this video, and I'm not paid for mentioning any products in this video. So, the first one is a bit of a cheat, but I'll go through it quickly. Use your own phone. So here are some of the phones which are really cool, really good for recording video on your phone. So here's an iPhone 4S, here's the new iPhone 7 Plus, and here is the Samsung S7. Now, a mobile phone, again, an iPhone 4S and above all have 1080p cameras, which is really wonderful, as well as a whole bunch of Android devices, and the iPhone 6S and above all have 4K, which is totally unnecessary. You don't need that, but if you can, then obviously go get it. And a bunch of Android devices such as the Samsung S7 also have 4K video recording. So your phone is a great way to start out with what you already have, and if your audio quality isn't good enough, which I do recommend you buy something to improve your audio. If you still want to spend that $100, buy your Rode VideoMic Me to improve the audio of your video recording, and the link of that will be in the description. I'll talk about that more at the end of the video. The main advantage of using your mobile phone is that it is small and compact, and that you take it with you everywhere anyway, so it's not that much of a hassle to take your phone around. Now, downsides are that phones do have smaller sensors, which means you get a deep depth of field and bad low light quality. Deep depth of field means everything's in focus. Pretty much it means that you have worse quality video for low light, and it doesn't look as cinematic with a blurry background. Also, phones obviously have bad mics, so you can fix that with external microphones like the Rode VideoMic Me, but again, I'll talk about that in the end of the video. And using your phone as a camera uses up the battery life that you would otherwise use, but of course you can get external chargers and battery ports and all that sort of stuff. So to summarize, do not buy a phone that you are only going to use as a camera, but do use your current phone as a camera, and do buy a phone with a good camera if you need to buy a new phone anyway. Don't be worried too much about the video quality. The main advantage of your phone is that it is small and you can take it with you everywhere anyway, as you do normally. So the first actual camera, or number 2 on this list, is the General Imaging E1410SW, and it costs $97.99 on Amazon New. This is what it looks like. It's a compact camera. Looks okay. I don't know, you can make your own sort of decisions about that. It does shoot 1080p video, which is very nice, and it has a 28mm 280mm equivalent lens, which means it is quite a wide lens, and it also is quite a telephoto lens at 10 times zoom, and it is optical zoom, not image. Not digital zoom, which is wonderful. It has a 14.4 megapixel CMOS sensor. 14.4 megapixels is wonderful. It means that you're not just scaling up a 5 megapixel image from the sensor and into 14.4 megapixels. Wonderful. And CMOS means that it's got faster speeds and ultimately better video. It also has MOV format and H.264 compression, which is the most widely used compression, and it has HDMI out, which is wonderful. Now, downsides is it has extremely poor battery life. This Amazon user said that he was only able to get 10 minutes of constant video with his camera before it ran out of battery life. Of course, everyone won't get 10 minutes of battery life. I do believe that's one-off, but in general it does have bad battery life, and it is slow to take pictures and to start up. It has a dark aperture as well, which means that you don't have quite as good low light, not quite as good cinematic video, but again, that's very hard to get with this sort of a price range. So to summarize, it is a great camera for most video work, but I would only use it inside with windows open or outside. This way you're always close to a charger, but you still have enough light to create good enough videos. To be honest, the main priority here is to get really good light when using your camera. Now the third one here is the Sony DSC-W800/B, and it costs $89.99 on Amazon New. This is what it looks like, a lot more classy than the other one, quite nice looking. This is a compact camera. It shoots good quality 720p video. Unfortunately, it is not 1080p video, but that's also fine. It is wonderful video quality. Again, it has a true 20.1 megapixel sensor, but this time it is CCD, which means you have better image quality and also better low light performance than CMOS sensors. It also has 5 times optical zoom, not digital zoom, which is wonderful, and steady shot image stabilization that also works during video. It has a dedicated movie button, a good battery life, very good battery life, and it is a very popular camera on Amazon, which is really awesome. It also has a dark aperture, which is very hard to bypass with such low price range. And again, it is only 720p, not 1080p, but it is quite good video quality. And 1080p is not a necessity, that I'll talk about at the end of this video. It also has a CCD sensor, which means that you have slow operation and slow photo taking and burst rates, including video recording, and that's probably why it was only able to do 720p video, because of the CCD sensor. So to summarize, it is an awesome camera. Yes, there's no 1080p video, but the image quality of the pictures and the 720p video is quite good for the price. The video quality is, it's decent. It has a proper 20 megapixel CCD sensor, which is wonderful, not a rip-off sensor, with 20 megapixel images, and steady shot image stabilization, which is a special Sony thing, and it works in video as well. So the fourth camera is the Panasonic Lumix S3, and it costs $89.66 on Amazon New. This is what it looks like. Not quite as classy as the other cameras. It has this very softer design. I don't know whether you guys like that or not, but that's a very personal choice. Again, here the good things about this is that it does have 720p video, not 1080p video, but it is good quality, and in my opinion, it's a lot better quality than the Sony W800. It does have a 14.1 megapixel 1/2 inch CCD, which is wonderful low light, meaning that CCD, of course, you get much better low light than CMOS sensors, and it's a big, not necessarily a big sensor, but compared to a lot of the compact cameras on this list, especially for the price range, 1/2 inch is a lot bigger than a lot of other cameras sensors, which means that it has a lot better low light quality, and it also means that you have a shallow depth of field and all those gimmicks as well. It has image stabilization that does work in video as well, and some 4 times optical zoom. Unfortunately, there is no zooming during video, and again, it looks not so classy, but you can make your own decision on that. It does have a dark lens at f3.1 to 6.5, but again, none of the cameras really going to beat that with this price range, and it only has 720p video. So it's a really good camera for a lot of video work. It's not like really good like some DSLRs in low light, but it is so much better than so many of these other cameras, thanks to CCD sensor and its largish size. Unfortunately, there is no 1080p video, but in my opinion, it is much better video quality than that of the Sony W800, which is really, really nice. So the fifth camera here is the Yi Action Camera, and it goes for $80.99 for the international version and $90.99 for the US version. I don't know why they priced it like that, but I'll provide both links in the description for you guys. So this is what it looks like. It looks pretty good. There is no screen on the back, unfortunately, but it does look like a pretty cool camera, and this LED light and this indicator up here tell you what mode you're shooting in and all sorts of other information to compensate for the lack of the screen. It has excellent quality 1080p 60 video. It shoots 720p video at 120 frames per second as well, and 480 video at 240 frames per second, which is wonderful. It has a Sony IMX206 image sensor, which is a CMOS sensor, great video quality, not as good as low light, but great video quality, and it is quite large, so you do get decent low light performance, and it is a 16 megapixel sensor, which means you get 16 megapixel photos as well. It has a 155-degree ultra wide angle lens. It's not like a fisheye sort of lens, but it is very wide, which is perfect in my opinion for vlogging. It has a 90 minutes of battery life, which you may think is a downside because it's not really wonderful battery life, but compared to a lot of other action cameras on the market, this is quite a good battery life. And 25 megabits per second, not megabytes, but megabits per second, is quite a high compression rate for such a cheap camera. A lot of action cameras you see, under $100, they have 4K video, even though they only have a 2 megapixel sensor. This one has a true 16 megapixel sensor, which is wonderful, and it also has really high bit rates compared to all those other cameras, which means you don't get those ugly artifacts and compression, which is not so good. Unfortunately, this camera doesn't have any zoom, so it is stuck on that wide angle lens, and there is no screen, which is a downside, but you can control it using other methods. Also, there are claims and reviews that the battery drains while it's off, which means you have to take out the battery while the camera is turned off, but that was a one-off thing, so you may get different results depending on what camera you get. Also, it does have slow loading times. There have been reviews where people have had to wait for 10 seconds, 15 seconds before the camera turns on properly, and also it's very slow between photos. You have to wait for a second, 2 seconds before you can take a photo after another photo. Also, it is difficult to operate thanks to the lack of the screen, but it does take a long time to learn, but it is usable. Now, it is an awesome action camera for a budget price. It is great for those who want to do vlogging or sports videos thanks to its small form factor, its high frame rates, and its wide angle lens, and the video quality is really amazing and it looks to be the best on this list. Now here at number 6 we have the Powerlead Puto PLD009. It comes in at $99.99, which is just in this price range. And this is what it looks like. It is a camcorder, and it does have that flippy screen. This means that you can view yourself while you're recording and set up your framing and everything really nicely, which is pretty cool. So the Powerlead Puto PLD009 has good quality 1080p video and also 720p video, but the 1080p video, now it's only 15 frames per second, which is a low frame rate, and it will look jittery when you view it back. So 720p video is what I would actually use to record with this camera. It also has 24 megapixel photos and a 16 times zoom, as well as a 2.7 inch flippy touchscreen and a very long 3-hour battery life, which is pretty nice. Downside is it is a generic brand camera, which means that this camera will also be sold by the manufacturers under different brand names, but it'll pretty much be essentially the same camera. It also has a 5 megapixel CMOS sensor, which you think, okay, that's decent for a camcorder, but the fact that it has 24 megapixel photos but only 5 megapixels, this means it's one of those dodgy cameras. The 24 megapixel photos really aren't 24 megapixel quality, they're 5 megapixel quality, so do watch out for that. They just scaled up, and the 16 times zoom is a digital zoom, not an optical zoom. So to summarize, it is a decent camcorder that takes good quality video for the price, but don't expect any stellar quality video or audio quality from this camera. It does have that flip screen to view yourself while recording, which is a deal breaker for many YouTubers, and it also has a really excellent battery life. This is the Sereen HDV-M6 at number 6, and comes in at $69, which is, I believe, one of the cheapest cameras on this list. It is that same generic camcorder though, which is a bit unfortunate. This wide-angle lens, this macro lens actually, is a screw-on one. It does not come in the price of the camera. There's also a wide-angle lens, as I just mentioned, which you can also get, but it is pretty much the same camera. Now, it does take the same video quality, and it does have 18 times zoom instead of 16, but again, it is digital. You have those screw-on macro and wide-angle lens filters. Wide-angle means obviously you can have a wider angle and you get to see more things. Macro means you can focus closer. 24 megapixel photos, again, is the same, but it has the same bad sensor. This one can be used as a webcam though. Comes with a USB cable you can plug into your computer, and it does have digital image stabilization. It is not optical image stabilization, which is obviously preferable, because digital image stabilization is what you could do in post in your video editing software anyway, but it is handy if you don't want to go to all that bother. Now, it is a generic brand camera. Again, it's the same sort of one as the Powerlead, and it does have that 5 megapixel CMOS sensor, which means you only really get 5 megapixel photos, and again, the 18 times zoom is digital. But the main downside to this camera compared to the Powerlead is that it only has a 60 to 90 minute battery life, which is 3 times or 2 times worse than the Powerlead, which is probably why it's $30 cheaper. Now, it is a decent camcorder. It takes good quality video for the price. Again, I've written the exact same thing here because it is pretty much the exact same camera, but it doesn't have as good battery life as the Powerlead Puto PLD009. but again it costs $30 less, so you have to decide which one you want, whether you want a cheaper camera or you want to spend more and get the better battery life. So it's pretty much the same camera as the Powerlead, but with a different battery. And as a final summary, those camcorders are probably best for sit-down videos. For vlogging or something, you can get one of the compact cameras or the Yi action camera, and of course there are so many other types of videos for which I would probably recommend one of those compact cameras. So 1080p video is awesome, but it is not a necessity, and if you're getting 1080p video, try and get it at 30 frames per second or above, otherwise it's pretty much unusable. What matters more is the actual image quality of the camera. Now, in terms of the raw video quality, which one's the best, it has to go to the Yi action camera. It's the only one which records true 1080p 60 video, and it is really good quality even at 1080p 60 frames per second with a really high bit rate as well. So it's an amazing camera which has really good, quite amazing video quality. Now, in terms of the best all-round camera, I would have to give it to the Panasonic Lumix S3 because it's just a great all-round camera. It only has 720p video, but it has, mega optical image stabilization. It does have that wide lens. It's got pretty much everything you need to make it a good all-round camera, and the 720p video does look really, really nice compared to like the Sony DSC-W800 and some of those other cameras, and it has great battery life, unlike some of the General Imaging cameras, which have their flaws. This one really has not all that many flaws. So if you are struggling to decide which camera you get, I would probably recommend this camera. So for me though, the best option would be to get a phone and use your phone as a camera. The reason is that nowadays phones have really good cameras, and if you're getting a phone anyway, or you already have a really good phone, if you have a really good camera on your phone, then just use that, and instead of going and buying like a Panasonic camera or something, one of the cameras on this list, if your phone takes 1080p video, good quality 1080p video, then I would also buy the Rode VideoMic Me. Spend your money on that, because audio is one of the most overlooked things in the video quality. It does scream out subconsciously amateur video if you have really bad audio quality. So I would definitely go and take a look at the Rode VideoMic Me if you've already got a really good phone. But that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this video so much. All the links and the prices for all of these cameras will be in the description. So yeah, thank you guys for watching so much, and obviously like this video, subscribe and everything, and I will see you guys in the next video next week. Stay shiny. Bye!